What's going on, family? How you feeling? It is the Love and Business Online podcast. It is Friday. It is the franchise Jay Claxton, and it is Dr. Dr. Cassie Vaughn.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. You see, I called you what your stage name is.
But why do you have to say that?
No, because that's not what I call you. Like you call me James sometimes. It's okay.
I don't understand why every podcast this is an ongoing battle.
It's not.
I respect that you are Jay Claxton, the franchise Jay Claxton.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to people about business, I make sure that I tell them, no, he's the franchise Jay Claxton. If they say DJ Jay Claxton, I say that's not his name. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why it's,
Why do I call you Bob?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't understand why it is a big topic of conversation. Like, why can't it just be, hey, this is da-da-da, and we keep moving? Like, why does it have to?
Dr. Cassie Vaughn, ladies and gentlemen, she has spoken. How are you doing?
I'm having a very challenging
day.
I am. I'm having a very challenging day, but I guess that's why people love us, because they get to see everything.
Can I give you a hug?
You can give me a hug.
Come on, give me a hug. Come on.
Okay, but why do you have to grab my head to give me a hug?
Because I will grab your head anyway. All right?
Okay.
We good now? We good? Huh? Okay. All right. So we have definitely a successful.
Oh, I'm so yo. When I say this chick is dope, I know you were about to say a successful and blah blah blah.
Right.
Man, she talk about stuff that people do not talk about in the church as far as relationships.
Okay, well, listen, you do the intro. Listen, I'm gonna bring her in.
So you gonna bring her in? You can bring her in.
I hit this button, right?
Yeah,
because
you're using
I know. I'm
the bringer inner. The bringer inner.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Let me tell you, even though I am the bringer inner, is that even a word?
Yeah, you the bringer inner.
The bringer inner.
Right.
So let me tell you how dope she is, right?
Okay.
So you know how we. Like everybody's like, oh, how long y'all been married? And we're like, well, we're not married,
Right.
And like we are confident with our relationship and we love our relationship. Right. Not to say that we're not gonna get married.
Right.
That's not it. Right. It's just that we're not married,
Right.
So do you understand how many Christian women believe that not only do they have to be married, but they have to marry somebody that's in the church?
But why do they believe that?
Man,
because I don't know. I'm
a preacher's kid, but I wasn't raised like that, so I don't know. Because my dad did not raise me like that. My dad raised me to be happy and successful.
Right.
So, however, there are women who really, really, really believe that I have to marry this great Christian man, and and then you go and you marry somebody that's on the DL.
Right.
And you don't care. So anyway, that's why we have Cornishia here.
Right.
She knows all about it.
Yes.
What's going on, Miss Thompson, Dr. Thompson?
Hi.
How you feeling?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing today?
We are absolutely wonderful.
Great. Hey.
It's showbiz, so we fight through whatever it is, but we are in front of you, we talking to you, and that's the topic at hand. You know what I mean?
I'm happy to be here with you.
Good. I'm happy to be here as well. I'm happy to be here as well.
We actually talked about all the things that you have kind of like under your belt. The fact that you're pastor, mother, successful businesswoman. I mean, what else do you do? What else that in case somebody doesn't know, like what are the things that you do that probably some people may not know, some people know what you're famous for if we haven't touched on them yet?
I'm a counselor. I do marriage and ministry right now. I was doing it once a week where I would meet up with people and talk about relationships on live Zoom. But right now, my schedule has just been getting really busy, but I want to get back into it. But counseling is really what I'm passionate about, relationship counseling. And that's just what it is, trying to encourage people to first love yourself first before you get into any relationship. Heal first, get to know yourself first, enjoy your own self, being alone. Because if you can enjoy being alone, how can you expect for somebody else to enjoy you if you don't enjoy your own presence? So
Yeah.
I just, just advocate for it's okay to be single. You don't have an disadvantage because you're not married or because you're single. And that's what society has made it seem and look like. And so people rush into relationships, quote unquote, a lot of times the wrong relationships,
Right.
because they're pressured by society, and so.
Right. Right. And I never understood why that was a actual like a real big thing. Like you have to be married and you have to be with somebody. And I never really actually understood. I mean, myself, I never actually understood it, because if we're together, we're together. And, it's not for anybody else to tell you when you should get married or how you should move. It's, when the two individuals feel like that's when it's supposed to happen. And it's when God says it's supposed to happen.
That's it. And that's it. And I agree, because he gives us free will, and so you have to choose. You cannot be pressured, because a lot of times people are pressured into marriage. Maybe you got pregnant, and you Christian, and so you feel like, okay, we got to go ahead and get married. But, you don't marry just because you got pregnant or whatever. And that's what a lot of people been doing, because they've been pressured by parents or by the church. And so just, you don't, cover up one mistake with another big mistake by getting married. You understand what I'm saying? So, you have to deal with the mistakes and stop trying to be what others want you to be, and find out what works best for you.
I completely agree with that. And I think I agree with that because I actually went through that. My first marriage, I was pregnant before. And of course, my dad's a pastor. I didn't want to embarrass him. So I was like, okay, well, let me just go ahead and get married. And then, I love everything that came from my marriage as far as my kids are concerned. But the marriage itself, I did not, because I wasn't my friend. I wasn't married to somebody that I really liked. I was married with somebody that, I had fun with one night, and boom, boom, boom. If I'm real about it, and unfortunately, because of my thought process or my mistakes, my kids grew up without a father. They grew up in a one-parent household. And I grew up in, thank God my parents are still together, and I'm blessed, to watch 60 plus years of marriage. However, right. However, everything that they have, I wanted, and I didn't get it until, we got together. And if I was to be honest about it, and I tell people all the time, listen, you don't have to be married, and just because you're pregnant doesn't mean that you have to get married, because you may not end up loving the person. Of course, coming from a two-parent household, I wanted a two-parent household for my kids. But what I know is that that's what I wanted. That's not what God wanted. That wasn't what he laid in line for me. What he laid in line for me was to be a mother to my kids. And that's what I've always, tried to be.
And that's so good and so profound that you said it. And so we got to see the bigger picture and stop trying to be what society, paints it out to be. Oh, it's difficult for you to be a single mom. You're going to struggle. It's going to be difficult. And no, God will he put you in a place to be a single mother. He will give you everything you need, to be a successful single mom and raise those kids and give them what they need, in that household and family. So that's profound.
And I tell people all the time, this is my story, or this is, you got to live your specific story. I can't live for you or move things because you feel like that's the way I should move. That's your story. That's your thought process. It's not mine. You know what I'm saying? It's not mine. They are your fears. They're not mine. You know what I mean? I'm not even having any fears anyway, because, even if I fail, there's some learning out of the failure. You know what I mean? There's learning out of failure. So as much as, we don't like failure. We should fail forward because it's learning that comes out of that failure.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
Learning that comes out the failure. But what I did want to ask you is, because you counsel and you minister so much, like how does that affect your personal, your daily, your family? Like, how does that, because everybody is putting all of their pressures, all of their worries on you. And I know you built it, but how do you handle all of that?
Well, personally, knowing how to release it off and not, carry it in, you know what I'm saying? Like carry that pressure or their others' burdens and bring it back into my marriage or back home. And so I just learned how to just release it to God, just shake it off and not carry it. Because if you can carry that stuff and not have balance and be able to learn how to release that stuff, it can have effects to, my family and my marriage. But I had to learn, way in earlier how to, put up a boundary and let them know, you know what, I pray for people, I counsel people, but I know how to release it back to God. Right. And not bring it back into my relationship or, with my children, know.
Right, because we talked about that, and we actually we experienced that recently. And, a lot of times I may not think something, but she may be thinking something. And she came to me, she like, I know that God put this on us, but sometimes I just want to lock in with you. And we had a discussion. I was like, I understand, but I feel like, this is what he put us on. This is what he put on us. So,
I want to clarify that, because the way you said it kind of makes it sound like I'm a little selfish.
No.
So that wasn't necessarily how it happened.
Okay.
What it is because he asked me, you not want to do this any longer? And I was like, no, I don't have an issue with people coming to us, asking us for relationship advice, asking us, for life coaching or anything. I don't have any issues with that. But what I do know is that in order for a plant to grow, you have to water it.
That's it.
So we always, no matter where we are, we're always giving of ourselves, because this is what God ordained for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I accept that. And with that, I know there are challenges. However, the situation he's speaking of is that sometimes, you just want to be with your mate. So here I am. Okay, you know what? I woke up, we kind of stayed in a little late, and I woke up and I was like, I want to take the sexiest man in the world that I know out. So I wanted to have a date with him.
Yes.
And him being the friendly person that he is, because he really is, like, he's a people person, really friendly. Someone called us, and when they called us, he invited them on our date.
Oh, wow.
So when they came, then they wanted advice or how to cope through different situations. So what ended up supposed to be
date night,
I carved out, that I specifically carved out for us, ended up to, okay, we have to, kind of pour into this person because, God put this on us. So this is what what I have to do. But afterwards, it made me feel a certain way. Like, man, I just want to spend time with you. Sometimes I just want to be with you, so that's what it was. So because I felt like the way he kind of explained it, I sound like I was being selfish, but I wasn't. And you know what? If I'm being selfish because I want to be
okay. Yeah.
Then so be it.
It's okay. Don't feel guilty about it. It is okay, because you have to be able to have that time to, like you say, pour back into each other. You have to set up boundaries and say, you know what, I ain't answering nobody calls. It's about us today, because you pour out so much. And my spiritual mom said something a while back, that even though we pour out so much, we have to make sure we save enough for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You know, God deposits spiritually in us so that we can release back to others. But we have to make sure we, one, save enough for ourselves. And then we got to make that time for quality time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Spending that time, because any relationship, it requires you put it in the work, making sure that love language is filled. Because what I'm hearing, one of your love language sounds like to me is quality time. And so that should be in any relationship. Quality time is important. You know, that we spend that time together alone, without the kids, without whoever. We just gotta have that time. You know what I'm saying? And so it's just, you gotta set boundaries, because if not, it's gonna always just be putting somebody else first. And you don't mean no harm, because when you get so used to doing it, but you just gotta go ahead and set those boundaries up and say, okay, Fridays is just our time. There's no outside people coming in. We're not answering phones. We're not answering emails. It's just going to be focused on us. And so that'll work. And so it's a give and take in relationship. And that's how you're not going to be so depleted and, you know, neglecting each other. You got to just set boundaries and just say, set it in stone. This is our day, and nobody's coming between it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That making sense?
Yeah, it makes ton of sense to me, because I am the queen of boundaries. You know,
Yeah.
I say it all the time. We have to set boundaries. And I tried to give him an example that he does exactly what you said. He does that with one portion of his life, and he's supposed to, you know what I mean? And I'm supposed to be understanding. But at the same token, that's kind of sort of what I was saying about us. Like, you have to be able to shut everything off and say, okay, it's time for us to pour on each other, because we love each other. We have a great time together. We, you know, like, that's why we're together, because everything is really honestly great. You know, it's not, we don't have any issues. We're real transparent. Like, even the way we talk to each other, you can tell that we're friends. You know, you have conversations and people are like, y'all talk about that? Yeah, why not? This is my man. We have fun. We talk about everything.
We really are honest with each other. I mean, I think you even probably seen that when we were setting up. I mean,
yes.
Like, yo,
I saw it.
Your nerves. I'm like, yes.
And I saw it. I love. She said, "Well, I'm gonna step away." She stepped away.
Right.
And so you have to know how to give each other space and not be overbearing. A lot of people can't do that. They gonna keep nagging. I'm telling you, getting on my nerves, but I'm gonna keep nagging you and saying the same thing to get on your nerve. But she got up and said, you know what? I'm gonna go over here for a little while. So, and you got to be real.
Right. And we really do have hard conversations, and I think that's important. I think hard conversations are really important. Because that's where the growth, again, that's where the growth comes in at. You know what I'm saying? Like, every situation, every conversation is not going to be easy, but the growth comes in from that hard conversation when you don't want to really talk about it, and you know that you may ruffle some feathers and hurt some feelings and that sort of thing. But
it needs to be talked about.
But in the flip side, we learn how to deal with each other a little better because of those conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because of those conversations. So we do have them, and we learn that we have to have them, because if not, we'll make some mistakes that we don't want to make. You know what I'm saying? And we'll make some mistakes we don't want to make. And we also, just for anybody listening, I think that you have to learn to let each other get off their chest what you need to get off your chest. We both can't talk at the same time.
That's it.
You know,
that's true.
I like no, go ahead.
It's gonna go out. The light's gonna go out. I'm sorry. He's good.
You know, even with we got it. Push.
I
try.
get
All right,
it.
hold on. Let's push.
I couldn't get it. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Look, a lot of stuff is going on. We're trying to figure it out. Okay.
I'm sorry.
There we go. Bingo. We got it. So,
we got action.
You know, even we had a conversation. We're having a real in-depth conversation where she was really passionate. I gotta let her finish, get it all out. Because if I start, talking over her, she can't get out what she needs to get out. Then what tends to happen is she'll raise a voice and maybe attack. Then when you attack, now you had a very valid point, but I'm not hearing your point because it sounds like it's attacking, and now I'm attacking back. So you got to be able to let each
communicate.
Get off the chest, and you both can't talk at the same time.
No.
And
y'all sound to me. I talk about being active listeners while you communicate, and to me, y'all sound like y'all very active listeners. Like when y'all communicate, y'all listening. You know how to give each other what they need to be able to release their feelings or desires or what you want in a relationship. So y'all really sound like y'all good active listeners, and that's missing in a lot of relationships. And I like what you said earlier about, sometimes we gotta fail to learn. And so it sounds like you said both of y'all was already married before. Y'all learn from y'all past relationships, I'm assuming, or just from other people's, how important it is to hear your partner out, to hear, how they really feeling, and being a good communicator and an active listener. So that's important.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely learn. I know both of us have learned from, our previous relationships and marriages and that sort of thing. Question. We talked about this. A lot of times we have really profound conversations in the car, right?
Okay.
We're driving, and we were talking to a good friend of ours, and we were saying that during the pandemic, we're still not fully out of it, but during the pandemic, when the world shut down, there's a couple of things that happened where you were used to going to work every day and being out for, 10, 12, 13 hours a day. Now you're locked in.
That's it.
Your partner 24.
Yes.
And there are some things, either you're going to have a newfound love for your partner, or you want to find out some things that you really just don't like, and you didn't like about your partner. What did you see going through and trying to cancel people through this pandemic? Like, what did you see? What were some of the biggest problems that you saw, dealing with couples in the pandemic?
You know what? I really didn't have a lot coming to me till like recently, kind of like after this dying down. But I really didn't have too many people coming to me during the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking it was the fear of survival. But now people are slowly trying to come, and it's that communication.
Right.
Just being able to hear your spouse out and meet them where their needs are. You know what I'm saying? It's always been like that communication barrier. Right. It's what I'm getting now, that they're coming out there and not knowing how to communicate their feelings or what they really want. And so it's always about just being able to, talk it out and being able to, because a lot of times the men, they don't know how to express, so they shed it in. And so it's that wife that's trying to get through to them, see, I know something's going on, but they're not letting me in. They're not saying anything. They just shut down. And so a lot of them just been kind of like shutting down. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And so the spouse, when you know your spouse, something is wrong, but the what is wrong, and that tends to be a problem. And so trying to get them to break, the barrier, because they put up a wall, because, it's fearful. And I'm quite sure, with the man being a protector, and here you go, you got something like the pandemic, coronavirus, and I can't protect my family. I can't guarantee your safety. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And so I can imagine the shutdowns were kind of like not being able to communicate because of fear. It was really fearful. And so that's my main thing that I basically saw, was the communication and not being able to, them express how they were feeling,
Right. Right. Yeah, because, usually as men, men aren't usually not. I mean, this is a new age man now, but
yes.
Usually your man is not that emotional. He ain't really talking about some of the things that he probably should talk about. So I know that it probably was, people not being able to kind of communicate. But I do also know that we talked about, like, you really got to know your mate and you got to know them kids.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes.
kids in school too for
Yes.
8 hours. Then, they get home, you get home from work, you get them together, get the homework, they go to bed, they, the next day start. Now,
That's it.
It was 24/7, 365, but it was 24/7 with these folks that you ain't used to spending as much time with as you were spending during the pandemic. So now you really know the real person or the real people that you had in the house with. Yeah.
Who's OCD, who's a little, so you get to see all that, like it comes out.
Yeah.
Which child is the sneaky one, and just, so you get to see all of that, like you say, spending that family time. And I think God allowed it because we're people that are constantly on the go. And so I think he slowed things down so that we can really get to know our spouses, know our children, you know what I'm saying? Because we constantly pouring out, like you said earlier, constantly trying to reach goals and doing different things until we don't slow down to really focus in on really what matters. You know what I'm saying? The small things.
Right.
And so I saw somebody put something on Facebook, you don't realize how important a picture is until you no longer have that person. Some people, I don't like pictures. I always post it on Facebook. My whole thing is me posting pictures with my family because, life is not promised. And one thing I know is I always have these memories of that loved one or that moment because, it was times, like you said, we were shared in, so all you really could have, like last year, I didn't really get to go on my anniversary trip. We go every year, but I didn't get to go. So what I had to do was go back and look at old pictures and like, oh, we had such a good time in Aruba. You got those pictures and you can go back and reflect back on those moments. And so, yeah, it was just a lot with the pandemic, being closed in, not being able to do things that you normally would do, but still being able to express your love for one another and remember the good times and not allow depression and fear to overtake you. And so.
Right.
So you said something that I think we should talk about. You talked about how, you weren't able to go on your anniversary trip, and so you had to look back at pictures. How important is it to create memories with your significant other or spouse?
I think it's very significant, not just even for your spouse, but for your children, that they can have a model and to see, what's healthy in a relationship, that quality time, those creating memories, and hopefully it'll pass down, to your grandchildren and great grandchildren. I think those memories are so important because you just never know, y'all. So many people lost their lives, unexpectedly through this pandemic. And so the pictures, the memories are just important.
Right.
It's just important.
Right.
And people need to see, what a healthy, thriving marriage looks like. Because guess what? Like we said earlier, ain't no marriage perfect. We're working, they're two imperfect people trying to become one, in any relationship. So it's not perfect. But guess what? We can say, people that say they putting on for Facebook, don't worry about people just take pictures. At least they're trying. They're putting forth the effort. You know what I'm saying? And so it's something that when you got those pictures and those memories, it's a mirror that when hard times comes, we were in a happy place here. Let's get back to this place. What can we do? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like in a relationship, you need to get to a place. I don't care if you've been together 10 years, 15 years, a year. You always need to be able to have that conversation, those hard conversations. Are you happy? What can I do? You know what I'm saying? What could we have done to prohibit this thing from happening, this negative thing? You know what I'm saying? And so pictures can be used for that too,
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that because a couple of days ago we were riding in the car and I said, "Are we okay?" And he was like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Are we okay?" And he was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I said, "It's my job to check in, and if I don't check in, then that's my fault."
And you taking it for granted.
If I check in and you don't answer me, I don't know.
Right.
And so I'm like, "Are we okay?" And I didn't get her answer, but I'm like, I'm asking you because, you know, in every relationship you go through situations, and we did have a situation where he said he wasn't happy and I didn't know it. So now I feel, man, I have to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's it.
You know, and so the only way I know how to do it is to ask the questions, you know.
You got to check in. You can't assume. And I think that's what a lot of people do because, oh, I show up every day. I thought you were happier because I show up every day. You know, because the question is, you know, people want to know, do you love me? Well, you should know I love you. You know, that's a lot of people answer. You know, I love you. No, I don't. I need to know, not assume. You need to show me. You know, and so I think it's so important that we don't assume with our spouses, that we ask questions, and that, you know, you be honest with your spouse and be willing to work together to make things right and better.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
So asking questions is important. God gave me that revelation a while back that we got to investigate, ask questions, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we say all the time, you don't know what you don't know. I can't even be mad at you for you not knowing something if I didn't tell you or you didn't tell me. You can't be mad at me. I ain't know. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Tell me. Now, once you tell me, and if I don't fall suit, then it's on me. You know what I'm saying? And then it's on me. But a lot what we have learned is really being accountable. But accountability goes such a long way.
Oh, yes. In every aspect of life.
Yeah. Yo, if I'm wrong, look, my fault. You know what I'm saying? I didn't mean it like that. I apologize. I didn't mean to make you feel like that. It was on me. Something happened. Yo, it was my fault. I was late. I didn't communicate. Whatever. But we gotta get to a point where we can be man and woman enough to say that, to say that, hey, I was wrong, my fault, I'm sorry. And kind of to piggyback on that, I can't fight every battle. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I just gotta, you know what? Okay, go ahead, do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't fight it all. You know what I mean? I can't win every war. I want to, but you can't. That's not realistic.
It takes too much out of you. So you just got to just admit, you know what? I made an error. I was wrong. Like you said, be accountable and let's go from it. Let's figure out what we can do that this never happens again.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe we got to check in more. You know, maybe I got to ask you more how, because sometimes we talked about that earlier, you know, what goes on the outside, you know, on your job, and you bring it back home. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know I used to I was a preschool teacher, center manager, and they would try to get you to bring work home. I'm like, absolutely not. Y'all can do work at home, but I'm not bringing that work home. That is my family time. And so I refuse to bring work from the office to home because this is my time for my kids. You know what I'm saying? My spouse. And so, you know, we got to begin to communicate with our spouses, but sometimes it ain't so much of your spouse that you're not happy, but it's something that's going on the job. And you know, so what can I do, baby, to kind of make it better? You know, maybe it's time for you to get another job. I can help you put in some applications and, you know what I'm saying, push you into your goal field. What are your goals? What do you want to do? How can I encourage you? You know what I'm saying? Let's make this thing happen. You know, because you want to make sure your spouse is cheering you on with your dreams. Because if you're not happy on a job, you spend most of your time at that job, you're going to come home and bring that negative energy at home, because a lot of times we don't know how to separate the two places, the two things. You know what I'm saying? And so the next thing is being that support that spouse needs. And you know what? If you're not happy, what's going to make you happy? And if it's a new career, I'm here. How can I help? You know what I'm saying?
So, you know, we talk about that also. We talk about what does support look like to you. And in a conversation we had recently, as we were listening to the person, they was talking about how they always supported that person. They supported, but they didn't get the same thing back. So as we were sitting there, I was trying to figure out, okay, so how do I explain to you how you find someone that's supportive to you? So as we would talk, well, it was just a regular conversation. And I said, you know what? I have a question for the table. And I said, my question for the table is, what does support look like to you? Right. So I said, before the other person could answer, I said, you know what? I want Jay to answer first, you know? So he answered. And so then when he finished, the other person was about to answer. And I said, wait. I said, Jay, what does support look like to me? You know? And then he answered. So then I turned to the person and I said, what does support look like to you? And they answered. So after they finished, I said, listen, after you find yourself, because first you got to find yourself, please make sure you find someone who can do what Jay just did and not only tell you what support looks like to him, but can tell you what support looks like to me. Because if he doesn't know what it looks like to me and he can't even define what support is for himself, then how can we be together? You know what I mean?
That's it.
And so when I did it, she was the person was looking like, you know, but that was the only way I knew to bring it back, because I want somebody who knows what support looks like to me.
That's it.
You know, and I want to know that what support looks like to them is exactly what I'm doing.
That's it.
And if it's not, okay, oh, so he said this, I need to go ahead and make sure I do this too. Or wait a minute, I'm lacking on this, you know.
That's it. And that's so good. I love how you did that. I mean, we got to be able to communicate. Because, again, a lot of times people just assume. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to ask questions and we got to figure out what does, like you say, support looks like. You know what I'm saying? Right. And that's so profound.
Right. Yeah, that's key. I mean, those conversations, it all goes back to communication. Got to be able to communicate. I'm gonna break them down. Got to be able to communicate and have those conversations, good, bad, and indifferent, because the growth comes out of those conversations.
It really does.
Yeah. What you got? You don't have nothing? You good?
No, I thought.
Oh,
I just.
Oh no. I was running my mouth and feel like I've been taking over the whole interview, so I was just checking in. One more thing I wanted to ask, and it's funny because we just asked this when I told you we did an IG live with Nokia of Drew Hill, and his answer was kind of profound. And I asked him, I said, you know, we're going on with the pandemic. What do you feel? We asked, what do you feel about the vaccine and taking the shot and that sort of thing? And his answer was, I almost don't feel like I want to answer that. He said, because it's almost like, you know, politics and religion. You know, they tell you at the bar, they don't want to talk about politics or religion. That's kind of yeah. You don't have these conversations, you know. And I thought that was kind of profound, but you know, I still wanted to see if you wanted to give your take on that or not, or we keeping it all out like the bar.
I just feel like, you know, you have to be led by the spirit. Whatever you're led to do, to each his own. It's up to the individual person.
Right.
You know, if you're led to take it, if you have a piece about doing it, you know, do what works for you, you know, because people have so many different opinions about it, and it's just like, so you just have to do what works best for you. But I have a friend, and I love being around older people because of the wisdom. And she's like 75 years old, and we walk every morning. One thing she was kind of like saying, my nickname is Coco. She was like, well, Coco, you know, you see millions of people die from COVID, but how many people you seen die from the vaccine, you know? And that's what she was kind of like, well, you know what? That does make sense or whatever. But I mean, it's to each his own. And so you have to feel comfortable and safe that if it works for you, do it. And so I try not to lean, you know, too much, you know, whatever works for that individual. You know, you have to feel comfortable with it, because at the end of the day, you can't say, well, you know, I was forcing not doing it. I was, you know, I listened to so-and-so and they told me not to do it. You have to be comfortable with it. What's your feelings on it?
Right. Well,
So I am not getting it.
Mhm.
I have lupus. Jay has MS. We have autoimmune diseases.
Okay, yeah.
And in a conversation with my primary care, she blatantly told me, if you wanted it, I wouldn't sign off for you to get it, because as a doctor, I can tell you the amount of autoimmune disease individuals that it was tested on. None of the three have been tested on more than 20% of autoimmune disease individuals. And I don't feel safe. You're not a guinea pig. And maybe 2 years from now, I may say, I think you should. But right now, absolutely no. And so I didn't want to do it anyway. But when she said that, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not doing it. He's not doing it. Plus, we had COVID back in September, and I just feel like God,
And you survived the worst part of it. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
My belief in life is that when it is my time, God's going to take me.
That's it. That's it. And that's how I feel to each individual, because everybody have different health issues. And so it's just to each his own. And I don't feel like it's like, I don't be trying to pressure people or, make somebody feel bad who took it, or go against, you have to make that decision for your individual self according to your own personal beliefs, your health issues. And you have been talked to by your physician. So of course you're going to go with your physician, because you know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, I wasn't taking it nowhere. Even before she talked to her primary care doctor.
And you wouldn't take it. Yeah.
I never taken a flu shot. I've gotten a flu shot ever. And I just wasn't going to take it. I mean, I think just for me, if anybody cares to hear my opinion, I probably shouldn't give it. But, it's not enough time to know what the long-term effects are going to be.
Effects are, yes.
That's me. I just don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. I don't, I'm not mad if you're taking it or not, but don't be mad at me for my thought process.
That's it. And that's how I feel. Everybody needs to respect everybody else's thought process. You can't be forced into it. And so it's what works for that individual person and what they believe. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. That's my take on it.
Right. Yeah, that definitely was. I felt like it was something I wanted to ask you. And you said you have 5 kids, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they, boys, girls.
4 boys and 1 girl.
Okay, so what is the difference? Have you really realized that? Is it a difference between the boys and the girls? I mean, and the girl, like, and what's that big difference? Like, I have 2 of my own, and I know what the difference is as a father, from my boy to my girl. My boy, I'm trying to kick him in the rear, and man him up, and and make sure that he's prepared for what life is going to bring him. My daughter, I'm trying to prepare it the same way, but I'm still kind of, it's a protector, because I'm a man and I want to protect my ladies. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand.
What is the difference, if any, between that one young lady and your boys?
I feel like she constantly needs, she's only 4, she's about to turn 5, but she's very clingy. And so they need to just know that she's loved, that attention, that reassurance, that she is just a special little girl, mommy's, she just needs that attention, that love. And so I said I love Gary Chapman 5 love languages. And so I said, I want God to download something in me for our children, that they can make sure that, their love tank and love language are met. Because if not, they're going to be little depleted little adults and horrible spouses, You know what I'm saying? If we don't make sure that their needs are met, because a lot of times, you know, as parents, all our parents probably thought we needed, I got a roof over your head, you know, they didn't really have a voice too much. Go sit down. I don't want to hear what you got to say. You know, we don't apologize to our children. We not all, you know, because there's no manual to be a parent. And so, you know, we just got to make sure that, you know, we ain't going to get it right all the time. So apologizing to them. I'm just looking at things like a whole different way, because in counseling, a lot of times I see childhood issues, you know, how they were raised, it resurfaces back again. You know what I'm saying? It affects them as adults. And so the boys, they're not so much wanting that mom attention too much. It's dad, but both of them, the girl and it's something about that dad. They just gotta have that dad, that reassurance that what daddy think, which you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you know, mom, we're that nurtured one, and try not to, we're raising boys, trying to make sure that I'm not being too soft and letting dad come in and give them that tough love that they need, you know, as boys. But with my daughter, I do see a difference.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. She already said she want to be a princess. I'm like, okay. That little diva want to be a little diva coming out, but
look,
you know, just that more attention. Yeah, more right now the stage that she is more of that attention.
Right.
She needs my attention. I'm constantly having to redirect her, you know, but just that attention. But yeah.
Right.
But we just gotta make sure, like you said, that we kind of equip them for society and make sure that they have that empathy and you know, looking into your kids and making sure that their thought process is right and you know, be open to that counseling. Because you know when they're not experiencing or where they should be having sympathy and you know for certain things that it's not there. Because that's when we got a lot of these children that just going and blowing up and shooting up schools. But mama, you saw it and you didn't get help. You know what I'm saying? And so we just got to take our time. And that's why I think God, you know, caused the pandemic, allowed it to happen. I'm not going to say allowed it to happen because we got to slow down and kind of like see what each individual child needs. And so what I try to do is if I can't but take them to the store, come on, you ride with me today. Just that one-on-one time.
Right.
You know, it's gonna always be that child that needs more attention than another, but giving that child that one-on-one time, seeing where their head is. I think that's more important.
Right.
But with my girls, I just think she needs that more. She seeks that attention more.
Right. No,
you know?
I got it. I got it. And you want to play? You playing games today?
No, because it's not a couple.
Okay. All right. She usually got these games that she play, and you know, she kind of go off on a tangent. Like it's not. I mean,
we can play a game, and we play the game, but it would be me and you playing. And then after the question is answered, then the beautiful Cornishia Thompson will examine it. If you want that kind of smoke in your life today.
I mean, I'm a grown man. I mean, you know,
well, you heard it, right? You heard it. He said he wants to smoke.
Oh no, I'm just saying.
All right.
You know, he said he wants to smoke.
You gonna talk crazy to me, and then
okay. Here's the question. You ready for the question? What do you need from me, and what do I deserve from you?
All right.
What do I need from you? I need your support. I need you to have my back on the places that I'm weak. Let me stop you. What do I need? What do you need from me that I don't give you? Let's see. I mean, you're pretty solid young lady. The only thing is sometimes if I'm like, hey, leave it alone for a second, sometimes you might press a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need you. If I'm like, yo, I leave it alone for a second, to like leave it alone for a second, I really need to process it, get it together, think about it. So when I regurgitate it, I'm not regurgitating it in a way where it's aggressive and I'm attacking and then it's forcing you to attack. You know what I'm saying? What I feel like you need from me. What do I deserve from you? Well, no, what do you deserve from me is for me to, you know, have your back regardless of what it is. and I do my best to do that. But I do know that.
So I'm talking about things I deserve that you don't do.
No,
because you do that.
So you need really emotional attention from me, because I'm not emotional, and sometimes I don't give you emotional attention. Like just like before the podcast. The
question was, what do I deserve?
That's what you deserve.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just talking, but that's what you deserve. You know what I'm saying? You deserve for me to be, I guess I'm a Carl Thomas, and emotional. You know what I mean? I ain't even a Carl Thomas type of guy.
I love Carl Thomas.
No, I love him as an artist.
I was just listening to him not too long ago.
Yeah, but I gotta be there. I gotta be a little more emotional for you, and a little more Ralph Tresvant for you.
Sensitive.
Yeah, need a man with sensitivity.
Yes.
Man like me.
So the two questions was, what do I need from you that you don't already give me? And what do you deserve from me? Those were the two questions. So I'm going to answer the second one first, which is, what do you deserve from me? And I believe that a lot of what I give you, you deserve. And like I told you, like I said in the conversation, I'm really dope. Like you have no drama. I don't pressure you, man. If you say I want to build a spaceship, man, I'm gonna find out the schematics for how we build it.
Right.
Like I give you nothing, but what I feel that you deserve is everything that I give, because I feel like you're such a giving person. I feel like you carry a lot on your shoulders. And so I feel like everything I give you, you deserve, but I think you deserve much more. And when I say that, I mean, I think you deserve to allow me to carry some of that sometimes. And I think that you deserve for me to be able to, like, I can read you. Like, you can walk in, walk out, and I can read if it's something wrong. But I think that you deserve for me to be able to carry some of those burdens, because in a partnership, in a relationship, and because we are together, I want us to be equal. I feel like you deserve for me to be able to carry some of that as well, because if not, what's my value in our relationship?
Okay.
So that's what I feel like you deserve.
Okay.
What is it that I need from you? I do. I understand that you're not really emotional and all of that, but my love language is quality time. My love language, I love emotions, so sometimes when I'm having a conversation, I need to know, not just silence, because I feel like I'm talking to a mute, but I need to know, okay, I get it. Now, on the flip side of that is that when we have a conversation about something, you may be quiet, but a week or two later, your actions show that you had open ears and you heard me. So I appreciate that, because I know that it's not going to a deaf ear, if that makes sense to you. Mm-hmm. So that's on the flip side of it. But I would like to have a little bit of both.
Okay. I got you.
I love that.
Cornishia, what you think?
I love how y'all communicate, like, and build each other up. Like, that communication, and I tell people, it's not what you say, but it's how you say what you say. And so, you're not attacking each other when you're kind of like being able to communicate the needs of your spouse. None of y'all don't feel attacked, right?
No.
I didn't feel no offensiveness. I actively listen to each other. And the thing about it is we can get what we want out of a relationship is just if we know how to talk to each other.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because that spouse can't be doing everything wrong. And so if you can just, I love how you ponder on the positive. Like, well, babe, ain't too much. I can't say that you don't give me. And I love how she says, you know what? I can read you and I can tell when you're not having a good day. You know what I'm saying? Looking for emotional cues and knowing your spouse is so important. Looking at body language is so important. And something that she said that I thought was so profound is that she don't want you to carry the burdens alone. She don't feel like you should have to. So she cares about what burdens you. And she's here as a partner, amen, to, make things lighter for you. And so I love that. I mean, I think y'all
Well,
got something that's solid.
she knows that I feel like I am supposed to carry the, I'm a man, my shoulders are broad. You know what I mean? I work out on a regular basis. Like, I mean, I mean, physically and mentally, because that's a big part of it as well. I feed my mind in the morning when I wake up. You know what I mean? I'm listening to positive audio, or if I don't have a chance to read anything, watching something, YouTube, where I can get some mental food to start the day, to be able to, take on what we take on a daily basis. So I just feel like it's my duty to make sure that I handle it. Like, we've had a conversation. She knows, for well, my circle is not really big, but my immediate circle and loved ones, I feel like I'm the person to make sure that we have everything that we're supposed to have. I'm the guy to be able to, build the, financial wealth, generational wealth. I'm supposed to do that. And I'm talented enough and smart enough to be able to do it. So if I fall short, I'm accountable, for those things. But my shoulders are broad. I'm going to keep pushing. Might be mad for a minute while I'm driving, and might say some choice words. You know what I mean, that I don't want to say on here with you. You know what I mean. But either way, I'm going to push through. You know what I'm saying? So
and I understand I'm not to cut you out, but I understand that's your role, and the God built y'all men to carry as the man. But I want to do you understand, like, are you gonna try to, maybe kind of like
she said
give her?
Said that to me before. You know what I'm saying?
She
So
has.
I'm aware. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And she may just, and I think what it is, not that she want to so much take it from you, but maybe try to, give you strategies, or make it easier for you. That's what I'm understanding. Like, kind of happy where it just won't be just all loaded on you, but she can help. Like, let me get in so I can help. You know what I'm saying? Not taking your responsibility, but just to be able to help you handle it so you can have more time to be booed up with me. You understand what I'm saying? So she want that emotional.
Like, I feel like you hit that pinpoint. And why I say I feel like you hit that pinpoint is because even in the way, like, we have to move back and forth in two states, right? And even with that, I'm like, hey, if you talk to me about some of that other stuff, I can help you. Even if you don't want me to be the face of the help, I can help you, and let's plan this out together, instead of, the famous man quote is, I'll figure it out. You don't have to figure it out. That's why you have a partner.
Yes.
Let's work together. Because the truth of the matter is, and I'm not ashamed to say it now, I've said this over and over and over. More recently, I've told everybody I'm spoiled. Oh, I'm spoiled. And I'm not ashamed. I don't care. Talk about me. Does he spoil me? Yes, I am spoiled. Oh well, jingle bell. I don't.
That's it. Don't apologize for it.
I don't pump gas. I don't open my door. I'm like most occasions when we go out, unless I have to sneak if I want to pay for us, because he's like, no, I got this, but I'll have to sneak and like talk to the waiter or the waitress before and say, hey, give me the bill, or or give him my card, or so I'm spoiled, right?
Wow, that's a blessing.
But even though I'm spoiled, I appreciate him. And I was raised in an old school house, and I still believe, and I'm going to finish with this, that old school love and that old school mentality and that old school partnership is what builds the foundation of great relationships.
That's it. It does. It does. I think y'all got something solid. Mm-hmm. I love it. I love how y'all communicate, and I just know God has got greater stuff for y'all. He has so much. All I see is nothing but love and compassion for one another. And I mean, we need to see more of that, most definitely.
Right. And we try to make sure we are really really like we show everything, really transparent. You know what I'm saying?
And I love it.
Because I do feel like, unfortunately, a lot of people get wrapped up in social media, and then they see all of this and they're chasing something that's not really there. It's like they're chasing the unicorn. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. It's not real.
It's not real. And, nobody's showing you the marathon. Nobody's showing you whatever. It just looked like that they just never had a loss. They never went through anything. That's not real. So we really do try to make sure, even when we talk on the podcast, just to, talk about the things that we do, good, bad, and indifferent, and the things that we learned and what we've learned, going through this journey, because, we want people to know that it's not, don't look at social media and think that this is all well. Everybody rich, everybody perfect relationship, everybody, everything is just always great. That's just not what it really is. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want people chasing this particular thing, but know that their life is good and know that they're enough. I said that as well recently. And, we were talking, we were just talking amongst ourselves. And I'm a firm believer. I'm not, necessarily, I hope nobody gets mad. I'm not necessarily a fan of, not cosmetic surgery, but doing, chiseling some things down or whatever the case may be. But, we talked about it, and I understand the point of view. You know what I'm saying? I understand the point of view, but us as men, we got to do something a little different if we don't want them, we don't want, you ladies to actually do that.
Think that, yeah.
Right. So what our conversation was we were having a conversation, and he really wanted to understand, well, why is that a thing? Like he was really asking, like, I want to understand. And I said, well, let me just say this to you. When you're in a relationship with someone, you're a woman. Goal is to make sure that they please their man and they're attractive to them and all of that. So if there is a deficiency in that relationship where the woman is not getting that comfort or that support or that strength, then in their mind, it's let me go do this so that I can look like that, so that he'll be okay. And all along, he may be thinking it ain't nothing wrong with her. Why is she doing it? But because it's not communicated, hey, you're attractive. Hey, I like this, or oh, you look nice, or just those little things.
Little things.
They don't realize that feeds us. And like I said, you can't nurture a plant without watering it. So you have to water it. And unfortunately, the woman with the most highest self-esteem still needs that.
And that's so true. We need to be watered. We need to be, and I just don't think it's just with just females, because there's a lot of men doing cosmetic stuff. Like everybody need to know, okay, you look nice, I'm attracted to you. You need to hear it. We need to hear it. And so
Listen,
laughing, but they do.
He is his own dude. Do you hear me? I'm surprised that he's been here and he hasn't done his normal.
Yeah, I'm my own hype man. I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all right. You know, I'm gonna get in this gym. I'm gonna work out. I see it. You know what I'm saying? Like we're gonna get it. I don't want to go under the knife if I gotta go under the knife for health reasons.
Yes.
I ain't going under the knife like, for no cosmetic. I'm gonna make it shake.
That's it.
And Cornishia,
I'm gonna make it shake.
Listen,
you know what I mean?
Let's be clear. He's gonna make sure that he hears something from me. He's gonna talk about his chest, his back. He's gonna do something so that I can acknowledge.
Look, I work hard. Listen, I'm in the gym. We've been so tied down with work. I ain't been able to touch it this week. I am fiending. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm fiending for the gym to take a run. I'm fiending. Like I work hard. Like I really do. I'm not. I'm not. You know. In case you don't see it, I'm gonna tell you. When you see this chest, you see the feel right there. Feel right
this is in regular conversation.
You see that? It's a debt right there. I'm not
this
playing.
Is in regular conversation.
I'm not playing.
Oh, I could be sitting eating cake. You see this? You see?
I'm not playing. And my back is one.
And I'm telling you.
One.
Normally it's in my face.
Wow.
But I'm just saying that. I'm saying that. That's the attitude of the thought process I think people should have. Like just, you know, and you should be able to have that conversation.
That's it.
You can talk some trash to the other. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Ain't supposed to be the, you know, the cheerleader. So, you know.
That's it.
We have been here.
Yeah, we
an hour, well, a little longer than that because we started at 8. But so we've now been we're like an hour and 36 minutes. I'm sorry, these hours.
Really?
Yes, I can't believe it. So
talking good.
So so listen, this is the part where you do your shameless plug and tell everybody how to reach you and everything that you have going on. When you finish, when we end, don't go off because we're gonna talk to you for a few more seconds.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook at Cornishia Thompson. I'm on Facebook. That's CORNISHIA Thompson. Also, I'm at Instagram on T Cornishia on Instagram. If you for anything about Cornishia, if you want to book me or anything, you can go to tcornishia at gmail.com. And there's so much stuff that I have a clothing line. I do counseling. So if you want to link up with me for counseling or anything, you can go to www.cornishiathompson.com. Also to purchase my new book, A Portrait of a Kingdom Marriage. You can also go to that link, www.cornishiathompson, to purchase my book.
That's what's up.
Yes.
You know, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule on a Friday to sit and talk with us.
I enjoyed y'all.
I think
we enjoyed you as well.
The podcast is something that is needed. You know what I mean? It's needed. And you know, like I said, we were talking and I was like, yo, people are really watching now. And sometimes it might not even be a lot of people watching live when we do it. But
they go back.
But they go back. I mean, somebody we doing business with yesterday, we were driving and we were great to have a conversation. And this individual was like, oh yeah, you know, thank you. You know, you guys are, you know, keeping me married and saving my marriage. And, you know, so it's a blessing. You know what I mean?
It really is.
You know what I mean? It's a blessing and just thankful. So, you know, we're here for anything. Love and Business on Lock podcast, Wednesdays and Fridays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And then
No.
Oh, I was like, oh, did I say anything wrong?
No. Two things happen. you guys know the conversation that we were having right before we got on, and I looked at the comment that I just posted, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I think that's who that is."
Right.
And then I was listening to, I was I was listening to you thinking, "Oh, who is next week's guest?" Because Cornishia was supposed to be next week, and so in my mind, I was trying to look. I was thinking so I could jump in.
Right.
You
She
know,
was looking at me like I was saying the times wrong.
Yeah.
Listen, you know, if I don't know anything else, I know them times. But I want to thank her because she came up with this brainchild. You know that of Loving Business on Lock. I didn't. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of like really not how I'm wired. I'm gonna give you the food. I'm gonna talk to you, but I just wouldn't. You know how this is packaged and that sort of thing. You know, this is Cass's brainchild. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful to be a part of it.
It's great. It's needed.
She books all the guests. You know what I mean? And we have had nothing but an array of incredible guests, including yourself.
Thank you so much.
And we needed you today. We needed you today.
And we love celebrating, you know, just celebrating great people. Not, you know, a lot of times, sometimes I would always say Black excellence, but we want to celebrate excellence, period. You know what I'm saying? Just excellence, period. And that's a blessing. So in closing, Cornishia, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule on a Friday, spend some time with us. We greatly appreciate it. And before we go, I always tell everybody, please keep all negative folks out of your circle. You pick up the habits of the, you know, people closest to you. So please make sure you keep that circle tight. You know what I'm saying? And you know, sometimes you got to get rid of some people, and it's okay. You know what I mean? You don't even have to feel guilty about it. Sometimes it's just, you know, you got to get rid of some people in order for you to grow. So with that being said, it's the Loving Business on Lock podcast. We will see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. They made me forget. And 5 p.m. Pacific time. Cornishia, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Cornishia,
thank y'all for having me.
Don't hang up.
Okay. I won't.
All right, we'll see you.
Thank y'all for having me.
Be safe. Have a good weekend.